All right, starting off with measurement and dimensional analysis, I'm going to break this into multiple videos because this is just a lot of information. It's going to be seem very tedious at some points. So if you find that that's the case, great. That means you're learning it. That's fantastic. Otherwise, if you're struggling, please, as you're taking notes, write any questions you have over to the side for me. Also, anything that you could possibly need for your 3x5 note card, write it over to the side or in the bottom or on the top. Pick a place, maybe even a separate sheet of paper or something. Please note on the exam, I'm going to give you all the unit conversions you need. I'm going to give you any formula you need regarding like temperature. I'm going to give you any conversions for money, things like that. So use the note card for whatever you wish, but please note that if it's a conversion, you will be provided that on the exam. You are not expected to have these memorized. I just want you to know how to do these. Okay. So anytime you're doing a conversion, now first we're going to start with American. We're going to be living in American for a while. All right. Anytime you do a conversion, you always start with what you're given. Do not start with a conversion. Start with what you're given. And we are given how many inches are in 8 feet. We're given 8 feet. So I'm going to start with 8 feet. Conversions are what you use. They're going to be a fraction that you use to convert from feet to inches. Okay. If it helps, put this over 1. As long as it's not already a fraction, put it over 1 because that will help you see that this 8 feet is in the numerator. It's in the top part of the fraction. And just like 3 over 3 or x over x, when you multiply, because we multiply straight across, remember there's no such thing as cross multiplication in this class. We don't even use those words. Forbidden. Okay. It's just multiplying. We multiply fractions straight across. Okay. And so I need the feet to be able to have a feet in the denominator so that they will cross each other out and give me a 1. So because I have feet up top, I want to have feet down in the denominator as well, so that when I multiply, they will reduce. If you have feet up top and feet up top, that's feet squared. That's not what we're trying to do here. Okay. You want to have 1 in the top and 1 in the bottom when you're trying to get rid of them. Starting with 8 feet, I start by only putting my units in my proportions, in my fractions. So feet, feet, and where am I headed? I'm headed to inches. So I have to look at my conversions and see, do I have a way to get from feet to inches? And yes, I do. It's right here. So this is a one-step conversion. In fact, most of these are to begin with. So once I get that my feet are going to cross out, it's getting me to inches, then I plug in my numbers. 1 for foot, 12 for inches. Okay. Multiplying straight across. My feet are gone. I'm left with inches. And then 8 times 12 is 96 inches. Please do not forget your unit. That's half the problem. Okay. So 8 feet is 96 inches. For problems like these, I would not require you to write a sentence. Just the answer is fine in itself. Only word problems will you have to write sentences. So the next one is how many feet are in 5 yards? Again, always start with what you're given. So I'm starting with 5 yards. I don't want yards, so I have to put it down in the denominator. Put this over 1 if it helps you. I need to get from yards to feet. Do I have a conversion right here that will get me from yards to feet? So this is again another one-step conversion. Once I get my units set up to where they cancel and give me what I want, I plug in my numbers, 3 and 1. Multiplying straight across, again, no cross multiplication. My yards are gone. 5 times 3 is 15. And don't forget your unit. Oh, I was going to write yards. Sorry about that. Feet. Okay. How many inches are in 6 yards? Okay, this one's going to be a little bit different. Again, we never change this. We always start with what we're given. We're given 6 yards. I want to get rid of yards. Do I have a way to get from yards to inches? Not directly, not in one step, but I can go from yards to feet and then feet to inches. So this is going to be a 2-step conversion. So 2 steps, and I'm going to go from yards to feet to inches. I'm just going to set my units first. Yards to feet, and then I don't want feet, so feet to inches. Notice that yards will cancel and feet will cancel, and I'm left with inches, which is what my goal was. Once I get my units set up, I plug in my numbers. There's 3 feet in a yard, and there's 12 inches in a foot. All right. Now, again, multiplying straight across. 6, well, let's go ahead and get rid of our units. Yard on top, yard on bottom, feet on top, feet on bottom, left with inches. Sweet. 6 times 3 times 12. Is 216 inches. Notice there's only ones in the denominator, so I'm not having to worry about my denominator right now. There will be here in a moment where we're going to have to make sure that we carry our denominator over as well. But because it's just 1, anything over 1 is itself. All right, the next one is to determine the number of yards in 108 inches. Start with what you're given, 108 inches. Now I can go from inches to foot. I do not want you to go look for units that will get you from inches to yard. That is not what I'm doing here. I want you to use only what I'm giving you because that's what's going to happen on the exam. Okay, you're going to only have access to what I give you. So inches to foot and then feet to yards. That's what we're going to have to do here. So inches, I don't want. I need to go to feet. I don't want feet. I want yards. There are 12 inches in 1 foot, 3 feet in 1 yard. Multiplying straight across the top and straight across the bottom. My inches are gone. My feet are gone. I'm left with yards. Sweet. 108 times 1 times 1 is 108. 12 times 3. Notice we're having to use the denominator now. 12 times 3 is 36. I do not want any fractions at all. When you have this, I expect you to divide. 108 divided by 36 is 3. So this is equal to 3 yards. Again, make sure you're taking any questions that you have for me and anything that you can use to support yourself for your note card or your homework. All right, determine the number of yards in 203 miles. Start with what you're given. We're looking for yards, but we need to start with 203.1 miles. I'm going to get rid of miles, but can I go directly to yards? No, I can go from miles to feet. Then I can go from feet to yards. So that's what I'm going to have to do. Miles to feet, feet to yards. Okay. There are 5,280 feet in 1 mile. I don't expect you to have that memorized. And there are 3 feet in 1 yard. Multiplying straight across. Make sure your units cancel. Top, bottom, woohoo! 203.1 times 5,280 is a big number. There we go, where I can see it. 1072368 over 1 times 3 is 3, and this is yards. And now we just need to divide. So divide that by 3. And I got 357,456 yards. That's how many yards are in 203.1 miles. I didn't need to round that. All right, determine the number of inches in 275.2, 75.2 miles. Don't want miles. I don't have a way to get directly from miles to inches, but I can get from miles to feet and then feet to inches. And that's what I'm going to do. Make sure and write these conversions next to your problem if you need to. Miles to feet. And then get rid of your feet and go to inches. Okay. Once you get your units set up, plug in your numbers. 5,280 feet are in a mile and 12 inches are in a foot. Multiplying straight across. Mile on top, mile on bottom. Feet on top, feet on bottom, left with inches. Golden. This is just going to be multiplication because we only have ones in the denominator. So we've got 275.2 times 5,280 times 12. And that is 17,436,672 inches are in 275.2 miles. All right. So I beat that horse to death. Let's talk about the length of one student desk is 22 inches. So we have the length. So say we've got a desk here. The length is 22 inches. Okay. If you line up 5 desks, what is the total length of the desk in feet? Well, first we need to find out what the total is in inches. Okay. I mean, you could convert from inches to feet and then multiply it times 5. But before we do that, let's just find out the total number of inches. So 22 times 5 is going to give us 110 inches if you line up the desks together. So 110 inches is what we're going to start with. And we want to convert that to feet. We want to get rid of our inches and go to feet. And we know that there are 12 inches in a foot based on the conversions I gave you. Multiplying straight across, inches are gone. I'm left with feet. 110 times 1 is 110. And then we have 12 in the denominator. Don't forget your unit. 110 divided by 12 is 9.16 continuous feet. So I'm just going to go 17 feet. Now, I'm not writing sentences now. You would have to write sentences because this is a word problem. All right, the next one. You want to arrange your dorm room so that the length of your bed and the length of your desk are next to each other along a wall. Okay, the length of your bed and the length of your desk are next to each other along a wall. So there's my wall. Your bed is 80 inches and your desk is 3 feet 5 inches. What is the total length of your bed and desk in feet? Okay, this is not 3.5 feet. Please don't do that. Okay. In fact, I'm going to ignore the 3 feet right now. And instead, I'm going to focus on my inches because I don't need to worry about converting my feet. They're already feet. I need to take my length of my bed, my 80 inches, and my inches from my desk and add them together. 80 plus 5 is 85 inches. Okay, that's what I'm going to start with. I need to convert this into feet. Get rid of my inches and go to feet. 12 inches are in 1 foot. Multiplying straight across, my inches are gone. 85 times 1 is 85. Bring over your 12. This is feet. You have to divide this. 85 divided by 12 is 7.08. So 7.08 feet. But don't forget, you also have your 3 feet from your desk. So add that to get the total amount. So it's 10.08 feet. Again, you would be required to write a sentence for this because it is a word problem, but I'm just trying to get you to understand the process. All right, I'll see you in the next video.